too serious.
Colin, you are going to be leapfrogging over there to the commentary position in just a moment. You of all our pundits, I know, will be absolutely fine with that. The hurdles are out. It's a final that's going to take place without him, but still a very good field. And once again, the unpredictability of this event shows itself
This
off.
is a red-hot race. There's no two ways about it. And, of course, at the jeopardy of having to clear 10 hurdles smoothly, the race is anybody's.
OK, Colin, thank you very much. What a great shame for Andrew Potts-Michael to be at this stage out of the race. We're just trying to find out right now what's gone on with him in between. Well, it was an hour and 15 minutes ago or so, wasn't it, his heat, where he looked so strong.
Yeah, and it could have been something after that first race. It could have been something that happened in the warm-up. You know, the positive thing, hopefully, is that, you know, if it's not too serious, then he did get a personal best under his belt. And maybe this is a precaution. That would be the best case scenario, that, you know, after, running a personal best, no sense going out there and really irritating something that may be a minor issue, and that's what you would hope for.
Well, we're hearing that in the warm-up area, which we were in earlier on, you were saying, you know, the cauldron of all kinds of activity, cramp. It's as simple as that, cramp in the warm-up.
And that's, with this sort of heat, and athletes not really being accustomed to having to run around in a Grand Prix meet or a Diamond League meet and then having to come back later, and that's the uniqueness of this Grand Prix, the anniversary games, where you do have the qualification earlier in the day and you come back a couple of hours later. Athletes and coaches are used to having, you know, 2 hours to warm up and go through that entire situation, but this is different when you have to come back an hour and a half later.
So there you go, Steve Cramp, all sorted.
Well, that's exactly what happened at the European Championships. And chatting to Andrew Pozzi yesterday, he said, you know, they're very aware, Malcolm Arnold and Andrew, about getting him to the start line in Rio, you know, in optimum physical health, and he's not going to risk anything at this stage. Why would he, after all the problems he's had over the last 3 or 4 years? Pity, though, for him and for the field and for the crowd here. Lawrence Clark on the inside, as we saw, Jared Eaton, and then Gregor Traber of Germany. David Omoreggi is a man who rather unluckily ran the qualifying time after the window of selection, so he's not going to Rio. Dimitri Bascu, of course, is the European champion, winning that title in Amsterdam. So then the lane next to him will be empty, so we'll go to lane 7, Duvalides of Greece, who finished strongly in heat 2 to come through. Lovett also was in that heat, from US Virgin Islands, former World Student Games champion. And on the outside, this is Manga of France. Well, he was, let's say, overlooked by the French selectors after having finished third in the French trials, but Martineau Lagarde eventually getting the nod for the third place in this event for France. So 2 Frenchmen in this, 2 British athletes, would have been 3, of course, had Pozzi competed here. So Lawrence Clark right over on the far side, lane 1. Incidentally, that is the lane in which he finished 4th during the Olympic Games. Was right on the far side, if your memory's good enough for that. There he is. Got the American Eaton next to him. Well, we're going to lose another one. It may well be Lawrence Clark. Colin pointing to it straight away and confirmed on our computer. Well, after Martin Rooney being DQ'd for a false start, he knows, doesn't he? Well, you know, this weekend we've seen some brilliant performances from British athletes, and we've had British records, and we've talked a lot about people a last chance to show and compete in Pozzi, maybe obviously not wanting to take the risk of competing in the final here after that brilliant personal best. But this was a big chance for Lawrence Clark to give himself a real boost. Good opportunity, and it may well have gone here.
Yeah, you'd be really annoyed if he ends up being disqualified. Just try and listen to hear what they're actually saying. Drifting over, which card is it? And it is that red card, so he'll be really frustrated with that, because he'll know this is a good opportunity for him to run fast, get close to that 13.3 mark, which is what he'd really want to take to the Olympic Games with him, because that's what he knows will get him through to semi-finals, and you never know. Raise your game that little extra, you get to the final. But all attention on that man.
Well, from 3 British athletes in this final, we're down to 1. Come on, David Omoregui, hang in there. Bascu, as Colin said, the favourite, easily the favourite, and just wonder if he can relax a little bit now, and doesn't have the pressure of Pozzi next to him. An empty lane. Omoregui, great opportunity for him alongside the European champion. 13.25, the 20-year-old from Pembroke, has already achieved this year. That was at Loughborough, as I said, outside of the qualifying window, sadly for him, for Rio. But Bascu, 13.12, his new personal best. Ran very well in Monaco. The other, well, it seems quite a while ago, it was only a week ago. So we're left with Eaton, Traber, Omoregui, Bascu, Duvalides, Lovett and Manga. Oh, goodness me. Ah, that is looking like Jared Eaton according to this. That was much closer, it wasn't as easy to spot. So Eaton is over, he's got his hands on his knees, he knows. So right over there in the orange shorts in lane 2. What's going on, Colin?
You know, I'm surprised. Hurdlers are usually far more disciplined than this, Steve. I might just, you know...
I've watched so many hurdle races over the years. We've ended up with 3 or 4 in it. We're heading that way. What time does it get dark?
Yeah, no. Let's see. They've got to gather themselves again, obviously, now, because it is quite frustrating, because each and every one of these hurdlers, as they're walking back to the start line, they'd be thinking the race would be over by now. We'd know exactly what had happened. So they'd be really infuriated for you, because it does upset that real nervous tension that you've kind of built up yourself.
Watch him right over the far side. Let's see if there's moves. Oh, didn't see it. Anyway, there you go. There's confirmation. So Jared Eaton has gone. So 3 from the original 9. We're down to 6. Colin, if you run down there, get your spikes on quickly, you've got a chance here, mate. Get some Diamond League points.
Yeah, 7th place wouldn't be bad, eh?
Yeah. Sure you wouldn't be 7th. Okay, so we've lost lanes 1, 2 and 6. So Traber of Germany is in 3. Omoregui, there you can see, in 4. Bascu, the favourite, in 5. We've got Duvalides, Lovett and Manga in lanes 7, 8 and 9. Bascu gets away better than anybody else. Omoregui hits the first hurdle, puts him off balance. It's Bascu, the Frenchman. Omoregui hitting hurdles all the way. And we've also lost Lovett. So it's Bascu well clear, as expected. Watch the clock here. 13.21 into a slight headwind. Well, after all of there was more drama at the start than there was in the race. Omoregui didn't get off to a good start. That really upset his rhythm. Lovett completely lost it as well after about hurdle 3 or 4. Real messy 110 hurdles, sadly. Time given now is 13.20, and it was the German Traber who managed to come through for 2nd place, while many around him were really struggling.
Bascu out the blocks really well, wasn't he? He was aggressive into that first hurdle, and he had a clean first hurdle, which is the most important thing. Because as you're accelerating, you don't want to make too many mistakes. You want to get to that top speed and then be able to hold on to that top speed as long as you possibly can. Still clipping those barriers, though, which really annoys me, if I'm honest, because I know he doesn't necessarily need to do that. Next to him, David Omoregui, I think he was affected by Bascu's really fast start there, and it really threw him. So the key thing is, though, to always keep your brain, keep your mind when everything's going on around you, because this is a technical event, and these obstacles, if you don't do them well, they'll bite you back.
His reaction time, Colin, was not quite as good. Well, as good as you would. You'd be proud of that point. 1:03. That was only legal by 3,000ths of a second. That was close. That's not
tight.
reaction, is it?
That was tight. No, that was a fair reaction time.
Okay.
That was a fair reaction time. But I think that's what really could have intercepted David in that sense.
Yeah.
And I think that really puts you off when you're a world-class athlete. Stamp your authority very early. So good job for him.
So 13.20, the winning time, an easy win for Bascu. Traber took second from Duvalides. Omoreggi 13.64, and then Lovett, Clark, Eaton and Pozzi will not be replaying this when they get home.